Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the Sacred Man Experience podcast. I am Imran Muhammad. Here we speak about the journey of manhood through the lens of faith, how to be strong but also soft, how to lead but also to listen. Today's podcast is titled Overcoming the Pawn Trap, Reclaiming Digital Purity. The invisible chains. I want to speak to the man who is living a double life. You are a high achiever, a respected member of the community, a man who knows his way around a spreadsheet and a prayer mat. But in the quiet hours, when the house is still and the laptop is glowing, you find yourself falling into a pit, the pawn trap. Is the silent plague of the modern man. It's not just about morality. It's about the hijacking of your brain. It's the digital drug that promises intimacy but delivers isolation. It promises power but leaves you feeling hollow, ashamed, and spiritually paralyzed. You feel like a sacred man during the day, but a prisoner of pixels at night. The Lord of the worlds, Allah, warns us in His holy book. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قل للمؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم فيحفظوا فروجهم ذلك أزكى لهم. Tell the believing men to reduce some of their vision and guard their private parts. That is purer for them. Surah An-Nur, Surah 24, verse number 30. Notice that the purity is the result of the action. Today, we aren't here to shame you. No. We are here to give you the tactical tools to rewire your brain and reclaim your sacred experience. Dopamine rewiring and pattern breaks. From an NLP and behavioral coaching perspective, this addiction is a maladaptive coping strategy, dopamine spike, to numb stress, loneliness, or boredom. You have created a compulsion loop. Trigger, which will be stress, routine, which you are seeking, and the reward, which is the outcome, which is dopamine. In NLP, we call this a chain anchor. Your phone or your desk has become a neurological anchor to the habit. To break this, we use submodality shifts. When the urge hits, your brain shows you big, bright, close images. We need to train your brain to gray out those images and instead visualize the consequences, the shame, the loss of connection with your wife, the spiritual distance as big and loud. We also use something called pattern interrupts. The brain needs a circuit breaker. At the moment of the trigger, if you don't break the pattern, in the first 5 seconds, the limbic system takes over and the logical man disappears. We are going to install a firewall in your nervous system. The battle of the gaze. The scholars of the heart, like Ibn al-Qayyim, call the gaze a poisoned arrow from the arrows of Iblis, Satan. He explained that every time you look at something forbidden, it leaves a black spot on the heart until the heart becomes blind to the light of Allah. Imam Zahid al-Balkhi, the great polymath, the individual who has done extensive work upon mental health and especially with CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, understood that obsessional thoughts could dominate a man's life. He taught that the cure is opposite action. In the nafs, if the nafs itself, the self, wants the dark, you must force it into the light. The sacred man example himself, the great model of sacredness himself, the beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, has said, النزرة سهم مسموم من سهام إبليس فمن تركها من مخافتي أبدلته إيمانا يجد حلاوته في قلبه. The gaze is a poisoned arrow from the arrows of Iblis, of Satan. Whoever leaves it out of fear of me, I will replace it with faith. The sweetness of which he will find in his heart. Al-Hakim. The sacred experience is the sweetness of Iman. Halawatul Iman. You cannot taste that sweetness if your palate is burnt by the artificial fire of digital intimacy. Ibn al-Qayyim reminds us that lowering the gaze isn't about restriction, it's about spiritual sight. When you close your eyes to the haram, Allah opens the eye of the heart to the halal. A sacred man doesn't just quit porn, he outgrows it. He realizes that a lion doesn't hunt flies. He reclaims his dignity as Khalifa. The purity firewall. Brothers, let's take back the controls. Here is your sacred man protocol to tackle the trap of porn. Step 1 of this protocol, the 5-second rule. Let me say that again. The 5-second rule. Pattern interrupt. The moment the urge hits, stand up and move. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Physically leave the room. This breaks the neurological loop before it gains momentum. Change your state, change your space, and that will change your internal neurological loop. Step 2 of the protocol, the halt. When you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, these are low resource states where the nafs is the strongest. Number 3, the visual swish. When a forbidden image enters your mind, immediately swish it, remove it, replace it with a picture of your children's faces or your own face in sujood. Make the sacred image huge and the dark image a tiny black and white dot that entirely and completely disappears. Part of the protocol, number 4, the sajda of Tawbah. If you fail, do not dwell in despair. Despair is the devil's second victory. Immediately perform wudu, wash yourself, ritual washing, and pray 2 units of Tawbah, rakahs of Tawbah. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, has said that a good deed wipes out a bad one. We know this. And number 5, the 5th step of your protocol, which I pray that you will bring into your practice: digital boundaries. No phones in the bedroom, no devices behind closed doors. You are a sacred man. Your environment must reflect your mission. You are too noble for this, my brother. You are created for the divine, not for a screen. Reclaim your focus. Reclaim your heart. Reclaim your sacred experience. In the next episode, we're going to discuss the midlife awakening. We'll talk about the transition from growth to contribution and how to find meaning when you've already reached the top of the mountain. Until then, stay pure, stay purposeful, and remember, you are a sacred man. Peace and blessing.